everyone and welcome back. I'm very excited to have you here this time because this is a vlog that I have been promising everyone for so long, and a vlog that I really wanted to do myself because, if you don't know, because as I've told some of you, Rason was actually the first place that I ever visited in the DPRK. That's pretty weird. Most people visit the DPRK and they go to Pyongyang for the first time. In fact, Rason is probably one of the least visited, if not the least visited area in North Korea. If you do want to go to Rason, you will have a pretty hefty journey ahead. And we're going to get into that in a minute. But before we do get into that, I want to say a big thank you to those people who keep this channel going. Of course, my patrons, Clarke, James, Charles, Alex, Simon, Masaki, and James Hickman. Thank you so much, and do consider becoming a patron. The link is in the video description below. And without further ado, let's talk about Rason, North Korea's special economic zone.
The name comes from the two cities situated in this area, Rajin and Sonbong. It's a very popular area for Chinese tourists to visit, as they can visit the casino here, and there's lots of Chinese investment in the region, as well as other investors, including Mongolia and Russia. Rason has been operating as a special economic zone since the 1990s, as a way of testing the waters of a market economy in a controlled area, something China and other countries still do today. Since the 1990s, it has expanded greatly, and it's been used as a kind of testing ground for establishing new policies, the first legal marketplace, and the first card payment system in the country. Rason is located at the northeastern tip of North Korea, bordering China and Russia, and is part of the Rason Special Economic Zone. More on that later.
To get there, you first have to get yourself to China. Usually you'll go to Beijing, after which you will head up on a very long train up until China's very northeast. After arriving in China, in Yanji, which is, by the way, a very interesting part of China, there's a lot of ethnic Koreans there, and if you can read Korean or Chinese, you'll notice that all of the signs for the shops are in both Korean or Chinese. It's very strange and a very unique part of China that very few people know exists. After departing Yanji, you will then cross the border into North Korea by bus and then carry on to Rason. Rason border is very interesting because it is one of the few places that you can get the North Korean passport stamp. A lot of people ask me, how do I get this, or indeed how do I avoid it? Well, I've got a whole video showing that. So why did I go there first? Well, that's a very good question. I probably wouldn't recommend to do so for everyone else, but for me, basically, it was partly to do with the dates of the tour that kind of matched up to where I wanted to be and when, but mainly also because a lot of the time when I visit a country, I tend not to spend too much time in a capital city, but rather prefer to go to the more unseen locations. Rason is a perfect trip for your second or third time to the DPRK. Of course, if you fancy it, and especially after seeing this video, go and visit Rason for your first time to visit the DPRK. It offers a very interesting insight to this very unique part of North Korea. It's a bit of a trek, but it's definitely worth it. Tours here in Rason are actually a lot more chilled than those in Pyongyang. And that's, in a good way, basically because there's not that much to see. In Pyongyang, you could spend weeks there, just like in any capital city. You could spend weeks there and you still haven't seen everything that you wanted to see. There are various cafes, restaurants, sites, monuments, museums that you can spend a whole day in by yourself in Pyongyang. However, in Rason, life is a bit more chill. There's not too much going on. Of course, there are cafes and restaurants, but there aren't too many museums and things like this. It's kind of more about experiencing life in Rason.
This is Heian Park. This is a seaside area with a small water park, 5D cinema, and other leisure facilities. It's best for a simple walk around on a nice evening and is popular with local people. It actually has a Czech beer bar with various beers brewed on site.
Of course, the next really cool thing that you can do in Rason is visit the local market. Now, Rason in North Korea is the only place that you can visit a local market as a foreign tourist. Unfortunately, there are no photos and videos allowed there, so I don't have anything to show you. But it is a very interesting location, including lots of foreign imports as well as dprk made produce. The market is very cheap and it's massive. Again, you could spend a whole day there. There are several different buildings, there's street food, there's so many different stalls selling clothing, electric goods, pretty much everything that you could wish for. One of the coolest things you can do in Rason is create your own dprk bank account.
The Golden Triangle Bank is one of the favourites of the tourists in North Korea. Here, foreigners can obtain local currency as well as get their own bank cards. I've still got mine. Pretty cool. One of my favourite areas in Rason, mainly because I find areas like this super cool, is the Three Countries viewpoint, where the Chinese, Russian and Korean borders meet on the Chumin River estuary. There's not much here but a pavilion and a small restaurant. You also have the opportunity to visit Rajin Port, the largest of the ports in the area, consisting of 3 piers and various container areas.
There are a few hotel options in Rason, just like in Pyongyang, except the list is not so extensive. They are very basic, a bit dated, but definitely do the job.
Next up, we take a look at one of the foreign investments at the Imperial Hotel, owned and operated by foreign enterprise Emperor Group. This is the best hotel in the area with a very popular casino, hence why it's full of tourists visiting from China, as well as a great view of Pipa Island.
And weirdly enough, I definitely remember visiting and seeing a British red phone box in there. If you're not staying here, you can always just go for a trip here and also visit the casino. Although it's up to them whether they want to permit you to enter and try out your luck.
Apart from viewing Pipa Island from the Imperial Hotel, you can also take a trip there. Pipa Island is an area nationally renowned for beautiful spots, forests, the sea, seafood and much more. It's not actually an island but is connected by a 1-lane road. It's quiet, peaceful and beautiful, not much going on. Also, I'm pretty sure there are seals here too. The Rason area has a surprisingly large amount of light industry, and many of them can be visited by tourists. A textiles factory, a bag factory, a soft drinks factory, and a shoe factory. As well as these top things to do in Rason, you can also enjoy visiting the various bars and hotels, a trip to the football stadium, and a visit to the health centre, getting a massage, or just enjoy some scenery at the mountain viewpoint.
Thanks very much for joining me this time, and I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I hope you got a little bit of insight into one of the least visited areas in North Korea. I hope to see you there soon. Thanks guys, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.